You rappers are actors, I swear that they never
What's up,
fake.
guys? So we have something going on a little bit extra, a little bit different today. This is going to be our season finale of the expansion pack. Episode 10. You get 10 episodes out of us, and that's it. We're gone.
Man, we're done. We got canceled.
Nah, I didn't get canceled.
No, just
Stop playing all the time. Damn, Jordan. But no. So pretty much what we're going to do is kind of restructure how content is going to come to you guys, so we can make sure we're getting stuff to you sooner, more on time, more content, different content, better content, things of that nature. So we're going to be in the process of working on that. So be on the lookout for stuff like that. More edits, we're going to be putting out more live streams for you game heads. And then we'll be up on that NBA playoff stuff. I know Dan's going to be on NHL for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just wanted to come check in with you guys, give you your final episode for season 1 of the Expansion Pack podcast, and move around from there. So pretty much we're just going to talk about stuff.
Just having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's like a stream of consciousness.
Essentially. So just going to be me, Roy, and Jordan today. So
I almost said Dan.
For
those who don't know, I am a little bit dyslexic.
Nah, he's just a bad person.
He is. He can't
I'm a
remember
little bit
anyone's
dyslexic.
name.
So sometimes I will say the wrong name of the wrong person or the right person. So yeah.
Roy, have you ever done that to Justin? I've
Yes.
never once heard you
Yes,
say it.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Jordan has this
'Cause
thing
you
where
literally
he
call me
feels
Dan.
as though I can do nothing to anyone but him and Dan.
But I do want to be the one to tell the world this. There's been numerous times,
Twice
that Jordan has mistakenly called me himself.
No, it
He
wasn't
called you
that.
Jordan?
He said
I
Jordan.
called
I'm like,
him Jordan.
How do you call
But
your?
it wasn't because I'm trying to call myself. I'm not that self-centered. There was another Jordan on the team.
Oh.
Jordan.
So I got used to saying Jordan, and I got mixed up.
Remember, use
Got
your
tongue
sultry
twisted.
voice.
What?
This is a sexy episode.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Use your
I'm
sultry
sorry.
voice.
So you don't understand. See,
There
what
you
happened
go.
was-
That's nice.
Okay, well, we'll kind of try to stay within our order of things. So the first thing we can talk about is our good old Dragon Ball Super.
Wrapped up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so that was done. I don't really feel like I'm missing anything. I don't feel like my heart is like, man, I wish there was another episode. The one thing that I am kind of wishing is that I didn't get so many stupid ass teasers for this stupid ass movie that's gonna come out.
Oh yeah.
So what's the deal with that, Jordan?
So I'm gonna try to keep my maintain my voice. So no, apparently, and I'm curious if this movie's actually hitting at this. There was a rumor or like this like fan theory that Goku, like the spirit of like the Saiyans, has been following Goku. And the video that I saw that pointed it out was, remember when Goku, when he goes into Ultra Instinct and he's yelling, but he has that like background echo to him?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So, can you say that one more time?
Yes.
There you go. So apparently that's like this Saiyan, because how did they know Saiyan gods existed unless there was a previous Saiyan god? We learned that there was a previous Saiyan because that's what started the the mythology of the Saiyan. So now there has to be a mythology of a Saiyan god.
Is there a
so
mythology
apparently
for
he's
humans?
the Saiyan god.
Is there? So are Saiyans just
Saiyans
special
are on their
in
own
general?
platform.
Yeah,
They're just
Saiyans
by
are
themselves.
aliens, and they have alien
No,
origins.
but there's Frieza's an alien.
He has different
Frieza
origins
trained for
as well.
6 months and was able to catch up to Goku. Apparently there's some origins that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Or some bullshit that the writers put in.
And I think humans are still Christian. So I think Jesus and things of that nature may be that. Captain Satan.
You know why I fundamentally dislike Super? Like at its core.
Please tell us why, Roy.
Because it used to be so simple. It used to be
It was simple.
Go out there, do your best, work hard, train hard, and if you can't do it by yourself, you got your friends to do it with you. You know? Goku went Super Saiyan, whatever. More people can go Super Saiyan. Whatever. Piccolo can do his
Super
fusion
Namekian,
with
yeah.
Kami, and now he's literally for those who don't remember, Piccolo is actually stronger than the Super Saiyan.
He's getting away from his voice.
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me. I'm sorry. Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super does that to me.
Yeah.
Piccolo was going hand to hand with Android 17.
Mm-hmm.
No one could do that.
Mm-hmm.
None of the Super Saiyans. And so Super is doing the typical kind of superhero thing where there's a reason why they're so much better than everyone else. They're either blessed by lineage or blessed by whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not interesting to me.
I just want to say that this movie is going to irritate the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it and I'm going to actively be irritated. And as I step into watching this movie, I will be irritated. And the reason why is because many Dragon Ball movies are uncanon.
Yeah.
True, yes.
So we talk about the lineage of Goku, the lineage of Saiyans, but it doesn't fucking matter because it's not canon.
I mean, it depends. So what they did with the last 2 movies for Super was they made them canon. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest.
But if you really think
I'm
about
just
it,
being honest.
those last 2 movies were irrelevant.
They're irrelevant.
Do you know
No,
why?
they-
Do you know?
they're
Do you,
irrelevant.
do you know
They
why
made
they're
them-
relevant?
Mm.
Because they literally became the season. They
That's what I'm
didn't even.
saying.
They shouldn't even made the movie.
The
Oh,
movie shouldn't. It's
so
not
yeah,
a
I see what
movie.
you-
It's not a
They
movie.
should-
It's a compilation of the first 20 episodes.
Why even make a movie?
Why make a movie out of that?
That's fair.
Or why make
That's fair.
episodes?
That's fair. I'll give you that.
That was
They're doing the thing that the expansion pack does, where we chop up episodes and post it as another episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're the expansion pack.
We can do that.
We can do that.
They're Dragon Ball Super.
You're Dragon Ball Super. You cannot do that.
when I was telling
No, I agree.
Justin to
It was a lot
watch
of wasted time.
Super. I said just skip the first 20 episodes.
And I said, no, Roy. That's not how it works.
And I said, and lo and behold,
that's exactly
how it worked.
Well, all I'll say is for the expectation of the movie, I hope that they don't, like, if this is branching into a new series like people think it's going to, I hope they don't reiterate the movie again. Just let people go see the movie, get your money from the movie, and let that introduce something else. And then ride that wave.
And I can almost make a guarantee, and I would damn near hot pepper challenge you to say that this movie will be uncanon.
I feel
Oh, that
it's either
hot
going
pepper
to be
challenge is hard.
it's either going to be uncanon or they're going to do the exact same thing. I think it's becoming a similar trend because there's this iGen thing where it doesn't matter.
Mm.
But they essentially have a movie and they expand on that movie in like a 12 to something episode. That's literally the movie. I don't understand why this is a thing.
Cold ice bath challenge today. If the Super movie is uncanon, you have to take an ice bath.
That's fair.
If it's not, I'll take an ice bath.
That's
we'll
fair.
record it for you guys.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's probably like a year out, but
Yeah. Hey,
we got video record.
hey, archived. It's archived.
Yeah. All right. Real quick though, what do you guys? I guess you said next episode we would say the overall view of Super. So maybe just rank it. Say why, real quick. Maybe in two sentences or less.
Yeah, we'll know yours. Go ahead, Roy.
3-sentence paragraph.
My
Thesis.
my rating of Super is I'll be a little bit intricate. Should you watch Super? If you like mindless action and really cool fights and stupid story, then go ahead. It is perfect in every right.
Mm-hmm.
If you want some narrative and things to make sense, especially in the larger scheme of Dragon Ball, just skip it because it's not worth it. Personally, I rank Super as 0 out of 0, but rating it as an anime in and of itself in the whole is probably 6.57 because it does certain things very well, and presentation wise it's decent.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I believe that Super has bastardized the Dragon Ball franchise. We have a lot of characters that were unnecessary, even though Jiren's cool. It's unnecessary. These little gods, unnecessary. Having Beerus is helpful, but a lot of other characters and things that are going on, it's unnecessary. These tournaments of power, not necessarily necessary.
Wow.
Not necessarily necessary.
Wow.
The story, background story, even prior to the tournaments, really got nothing out of it. It all kind of built up on each other. It really didn't do anything. We got a return of Frieza, but honestly, if I just think about what Dragon Ball Super added on as far as to Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, added nothing. It did nothing. Literally did nothing to these series whatsoever.
Besides giving them two forms, God and God.
No, it gave you forms.
That meant nothing.
But essentially they made everything mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All these fights with Boo, they mean nothing because there's a Beerus. These fights with Cell, they mean nothing because you have Beerus, you have Gods of Destructions, you have Jiren. Jiren would have fucking destroyed Boo. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So really, if anything, it just really took away from Super, or it took away from Z, it took away from Dragon Ball, and me. Honestly, I'm just even outside of that, just watching it as a regular anime and not tying it to anything. It wasn't really a great anime. It wasn't too much comedy in it. It wasn't any there was even the fights. The fights were cool, but the actual sense that the fights made, it was stupid. The way the fights ended, the way the fights began, the middle of fights, like part of the fight is the actual narrative of what's going on and how someone's winning, how someone's getting an upper hand, and the fact that all this information was just thrown at you and like, hey, just take it at every fight, at every point possible. Like, it's a bad anime. It's a bad rendition of Dragon Ball. It's a bad rendition of Goku. The only person that got anything really out of it is probably Vegeta. But
because he caught back up to Goku, kind of.
yeah, but just aside from that, it wasn't a good anime at all, and it focused so much on characters. It focused so much on Goku, but not even in a cool way. Like Dragon Ball focused on Goku.
It's literally Goku.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is it was so Goku that Goku didn't have to be there, and it was still good. Super is all Goku, and it wasn't. He didn't grow really. Like, oh, I've learned techniques. It's like you learned these techniques very shittily. If they were learned better, or and it was so rushed. It was so rushed. It's like you didn't even have the time to really even appreciate God KO Kenmo. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have any time to really appreciate any of these modes or any of these additional techniques that Goku's learning. We barely got a chance to appreciate just base God mode. You had to get Ultra Instinct. So it was so rushed and just so sloppily executed. It really kind of killed Dragon Ball for me, where I was like a super strong fan of like Goku. I've lost, fanism towards that. So for me, if I had to rank it, if someone were to ask me, you don't have to watch it. Don't watch it. Look it up. Look at reviews. Look at whole fucking recaps. Do that. Don't put yourself to sit there and watch every single episode of Dragon Ball Super. It's a waste of time. And I bet like you said, the manga is gonna kind of get things better if you want to follow the manga.
Kind of hindsight thing.
Yeah, you can follow the manga. That's fine. But as far as watching Dragon Ball Super, I wouldn't tell anybody to watch Super.
That's fair. So scale of 1 to 10.
Scale from 1 to 10. Like, I want to be a dick, but if I'm telling you not to watch it, it's got to be under a 3. I'm telling you not to watch it. Like, I'm telling you, watch recaps. Watch YouTube recaps.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Don't sit there and just watch these episodes.
That's fair. I mean, everybody, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect that. I think all your points are very, very valid. I actually my ranking agrees with Roy pretty well, and I was actually surprised. I thought you were going to rank it a lot lower than 6.5, but I'm going to give it a 6.5. The reason I give it a 6.5, I think it gets past that like 5 margin. Gets over the hump because the animation in the last season was fantastic. Like, some of the best animation you've seen in anime in general.
And that's nothing to cough on either. But in addition to that, it is newer.
Yeah,
it's a newer anime.
It is.
But the animation is beautiful.
I mean, you have to figure, if it's not following like a manga sketch like most animes do, they're doing that like verbatim in a sense. Like, they're doing it from scratch, and it looked fantastic. I think honestly, for me, what kind of saved Super was the last season, was that Tournament of Power. But I do agree. I think the thing that takes it away the most for me would be the weight of everything that is involved when you think about Super's story. So when you look at the fight scenes, what weight are the characters carrying to make this fight important? Like, we had that kind of, the last season had that weight of, oh, if you lose, your universe is gone.
You see that's
but
that's
it
but
was
that's
like
what I
we
was
wished
saying.
everybody back. So
No, it's not even that. It's just that what you're saying is that's the narrative of the fight. So I'm gonna fight harder so I have a reason to fight harder. But if you think about it, the way Super did it, I'm gonna make a tournament, and if you don't win, you all are gonna die. And that's what they did. They said, here's weight, here you are, and that was it. There was no transgression through that at all. There was nothing to build that.
But when you watched it, I mean, and that's the thing, like that's a pretty basic thing. That's an easy thing to set up. Like, that's like a freaking fair ball. Like, that's just an underhand toss. You should hit that as a home run. Like, that's easy. And it just seemed like when the characters got eliminated, they really didn't care that they got eliminated. It didn't feel real. And one last point that I want to make about it is like you said, and that was a really good point, we didn't get much time to appreciate these new forms. Once again, that's why we didn't feel weight to these new forms that they had. You see Super Saiyan God, which Beerus was looking for, and Beerus is like, oh wow, this is impressive. Goku doesn't go into that until the Tournament of Power, which is a full 4 or 5 seasons later. And when he does it, all of a sudden we learn, oh, well, it's faster than Blue for whatever reason. Like, now we're just adding things on. Then you get Super Saiyan Blue. And that becomes irrelevant when the Universal Tournament between 6 and 7 come in. And you see hit, so Goku has to go Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. He does that. Then that becomes irrelevant when we see Jiren. So then he fights Jiren. And then he goes Ultra Instinct, that pre-Ultra Instinct. And that went irrelevant in the same arc. And then you finally get that Mastered Ultra Instinct, and you're like, all right, we hit a pinnacle. And then he says, I can't do it anymore. So it's just, what did we really, really get? In each saga of Dragon Ball Z, when Goku went Super Saiyan, it meant something because that whole saga was building up towards Super Saiyan. And then when this Android to Cell saga came up, we realized Super Saiyan is strong still, but you could get farther than that, and the whole saga led it up into getting Super Saiyan 2. And then Boo, same thing, same formula. It's a simple formula, but it works. Super Saiyan 2 worked through half the saga, and then it realized, oh, we need to go farther. Super Saiyan 3, Fusion Super Saiyan 3, like Patara earrings, that was huge. That was a big thing.
Because like you had so much time and space to appreciate it, because it wasn't just one battle fight there in one. Like, you had Super Saiyan 1, when you saw Trunks, you knew Trunks was real as hell. When you saw him come in Super Saiyan,
and you're like, whoa, Super Saiyan, like, another Super Saiyan?
Who the hell is that? There's another Super Saiyan, flipping the fuck out, And it, like, Super Saiyan was so real. I'm saying, and then like it was so real that we even had a false Super Saiyan out of Vegeta. Like, Vegeta thought he was a Super Saiyan. Like, he's like, no, this really is what it is. You had a fucking season of that. You had movies of that shit, and then you moved over to Super Saiyan 2, and it's like, man, Super Saiyan 2 is really shit too. And then you get it where you have Gohan at the end of that bitch going fucking crazy, killing Cell. Like, you get these appreciations of these forms. And
it's like you memorize it. You can remember that moment being a kid and watching that.
And even with Super Saiyan 3, even though we didn't see it as often, it was still that scarce mode that, like, we know how, because you know how strong 1 was, you know how strong 2 was. So it's like, damn, that's 3, and you see these different changes and shit.
Yeah.
And even in GT, like,
Super Saiyan 4 was a big deal too.
That was fucking huge.
And that whole saga was based off of Super Saiyan 4. It never changed. The only difference, the only way they ascended their power was when Goku and Vegeta fused. That's why, like, I say it's a 6.5, not because the animation wasn't good. The animation was good. It's just, I feel like when I think about the saga, the one thing that stands out in my head is the Goku versus Jiren fight. But like, that's like 5% of the whole series. Like, the rest of it I don't care about like that, and that's why I give it the 6.5, just because that tournament kind of boosted it past that 5 range for me. But there was definitely more that they could have done.
My wrap-up question to you is, and I understand what you mean by the animation, but here's the thing. If I have it's 2018, everything should be at 1080p. Everything should look that clean. All animation from this point moving forward should look this clean. So if there's a terrible anime and it looks great but it's terrible, I can't.
Terrible.
It's terrible still.
So the reason I have an appreciation for it is you actually see, like, there's so much vibrance to the color, and like you said, it is 1080p, but like if you really look at the details are astounding, and it is really, really expensive to make those kind of things. Like I think I was looking at Naruto, and Naruto, Roy can agree to this, they didn't have the best animation at times, but one episode of Naruto would be $300,000. That's the cost it costs. So, and that's like a basic animation. It's really sometimes bad animation. So to make multiple episodes in the tournament at that high quality animation, they were spending a lot of money on that. But I agree.
Why though?
Because it's Dragon Ball Z. It was a little overcome. But that's what they should have been aiming for, though. Like, we just want action. Here's your action.
But if they did, you see, that's
because the problem that Super ran into is that bland exposition where it's like, okay, now we're just gonna have to somehow tell you something to explain why you're seeing this. Like, I don't even need you to tell me that. Just show me it. Just let me see the fight. I want to enjoy a good fight.
That's because they were consistently trying to outdo what they just showed.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball Z's never been about outdoing what they just showed.
It's about a story.
It's literally
like ascending past your limits.
Progression.
Yeah, progression.
You have a big baddie. He's clearly stronger than anyone and everyone right now, and we're gonna show you the journey to overcoming that bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You in Super, every single big bad. There is no there's a big baddie for this season, but then you'll have lots of little different big baddies. And each one of those big baddies or smaller ones has their own unnecessary power hike. Hit has his own unnecessary power hike. I skipped some. I didn't watch all of Black Goku. The only reason I wanted to watch Black Goku was because he looked so cool.
Same.
Super Saiyan Rose, whatever, God Rose, whatever. That to me is the coolest thing.
Yeah,
I saw.
I think that they weren't really creative with the
so far away from it. You had something so cool and just.
It is. I'm telling you right now. It is so cool. Black. Up until I have zero interest in watching Super.
Mm-hmm.
But like I want to go
Mm-hmm.
and watch that just to understand, because it's and that's the thing. Like Dragon Ball Z always and GT and even GT to a certain extent caught the coolness factor in terms of aesthetics. Where GT fell.
Remember
off,
Cooler.
Cool as shit. Like you have to go watch what the fuck and learn what cooler is.
And that's the thing, you know, like I think, like, honestly, GT and Super are very similar, and I think the only reason why Super is better than GT, and I'm gonna say this right now, is because the fights in Super are better than the fights in GT.
That's fair.
That is the only reason I think Super is in higher regard than GT.
Mm-hmm.
In GT, the fights are unnecessarily short and unnecessarily uncool. Like, there's nothing exciting from the fights.
Yeah.
And when you have a bland story, and some of the stories in GT weren't, like, the whole
GT stories weren't bad.
Baby Vegeta, Super Android 17, I don't remember too much about that.
That was decent.
But they brought back Cell and Frieza.
And
that was awesome.
Them.
You know?
And it made sense.
And then even once you get to
the dragon.
Yeah, Black Star Dragons. Like, that was genuinely interesting stuff. Like,
those ideas were
the way in which they got
and it
to
flowed
Super
well with
Saiyan,
Dragon Ball Z.
The way in which they got to Super Saiyan 4.
Everything came off of Dragon Ball Z.
It makes sense. They fell because they did the same thing Super did, in which Goku gets Super Saiyan 4, and in the same episodes it's rendered obsolete. In that same, you get some crazy huge power hike, and it's still not enough. It's cool in the dumbest level that your bad guy is so strong, but it just dilutes it, because then you just continually have these unnecessary power hikes. Bleach did that. Even Naruto did that. Like, you get to the point where it's like, well, then what's the point of everyone else being there? And Z's already had that problem. Anyway, I feel like if you want to watch cool fights, you can watch Super, but if you skip it, you're not missing anything. That's really the ultimate.
And my last thing is, I think if you want to watch it and you actually want to, like, think while you're watching, I think the best story arc is the Goku Black Saga, and I think the best fighting arc is the Tournament of Power for those people that are.
And it's poetic because Goku Black is one of the really good characters in Fighter Z.
Yeah. True.
Okay. All right, so next we'll move over to One Piece. It's been a little while. I was talking to Jordan. Jordan told me that after every 100 episodes or whatever,
chapters.
Every 100 chapters.
100 episodes do sometimes.
But pretty much, you have something big happens in the arc, kind of either ends it or kind of like caps it off or whatever, and kind of move from there. So Jordan, again, please tell us what's happened at episode 900.
So chapter. Now you threw me off. Chapter 900. Wait, did we talk about how the ship? Oh no, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
We did not. So in chapter 900, Big Mom finally eats the cake. No pun intended. Big Mom ate the cake. And she was so infatuated with the cake that she broke out into song, and it got really, really creepy really quick because a lot of bad things started happening as soon as she was. I don't even remember how the song went, to be honest with you. Like so one of Big Mom's origin things is that like she ate her friends.
Stop it.
And her caretaker. And like she opened her mouth when she was singing, and it zoomed in on her mouth, and there's like graveyards in her mouth. It wasn't like shown that she ate them, but it was implied, and that kind of, sealed the deal
when
for
Big
any
Mom's
skeptics.
Hungry, Big Mom's
Don't be
hungry.
next to her when she's hungry. She'll eat you.
She really will.
Yeah.
And not like you'll survive in her stomach, like she'll chew.
No,
so
you're dead.
Semi spoiler, but not really. We kind of learned through that you can get a devil fruit by eating someone that has the devil fruit.
Big Mom has never actually eaten a devil fruit.
She ate someone that had one, and that's how she has her devil fruit.
That is story.
That is weight. That is weight. That, my good sir, is story. But yeah, so as she gets to the climax of her song, a cannon actually hits the Straw Hat's ship, and there goes Straw Hat's ship.
Yes.
Did they still have to go and marry?
No, we're on something different now.
Okay, but they put the ship out though.
But they fucked that ship.
Damn.
And then
cry when the going marriage get fucked up.
Oh, it is.
It is a really sad.
It is really
sad.
sad.
Sorry.
It is
anyway.
sad.
So,
But it's beautiful. But you had to know that you knew. You had to know.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, but then chapter 901 came out.
Oh,
Yeah, it did.
This
This past week. Turns out they didn't hit the ship.
oh, okay.
So we're good. We're good. I just wanted to see you sad for a second. So
Getting sad.
it turned out that the fishmen that were helping them trying to escape, which I kind of missed that part, but yeah, the fishmen came to help them escape. They replaced the Sunny, which is the new ship, with the fisherman ship. So that actually got hit. And this big fish guy put them in his mouth and kind of swam away with them. So they have some distance. But so the fishmen are trying to hold off Big Mom pirates, and the fishmen are kind of giving a fight, but it's kind of like you don't want to fight Big Mom's crew. So Jinbei's like, you know what, I gotta join. I gotta help protect my crew.
It's more like the fishermen are people who are fighting in water.
Yeah.
And Big Mom has a crewmate who was essentially an oven. His name is
Oven.
And his power is heat. So he's just heating up the water,
Yeah.
making
Oh.
it hard for people who are fighting in water.
Honestly, you just
I will bake you bitches. Boil bitches.
you don't want to mess with Big Mom pirates. That's what we're learning this arc. But one thing that was good is Luffy ended up saying, Jinbei, you go help them, but I'm your captain now. I want you to meet me in Wano.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, I know the way.
I am the captain now.
So
He said, even if you die, don't die. That's the
Luffy.
title of the 901 arc.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Chapter.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Jinbei gives a little
Big
half
Mom
smile.
is on her way too. And strangely enough, someone pointed this out. We haven't been seeing too much of Sanji. Like Sanji's kind of been missing in the thing, and Sanji's kind of the strongest right now because Luffy's tired and Jinbei went off the ship. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that kind of, I think, for the most part, wraps up that chapter. So it looks like we're going to Wano, which everybody's been waiting for. And that's where the other half of the Straw Hat crew is. So, pretty excited.
I just wanted to inform everybody that with our changes to the expansion pack, we'll be coming to Jordan on the day or day after these chapters drop. Jordan.
I accept the challenge.
No problem. Or Roy.
What do you
Either
mean?
or. I can
Yes,
do it.
yes.
It's fine. Either or.
So, I mean, I don't know if there's too much to discuss this time. It's just, I mean, even in general, yeah. I mean,
Well, actually, I did want
Yes.
to talk about one thing real quick.
yes.
So now that we're at 9:01,
Mhm.
we've kind of seen what the Big Mom Pirates can do, and this kind of goes back to our text message story. Who are the Big Mom Pirates that stick out to you,
Yes.
and what do you think of the Yonko to this point? And just anything that has in your mind that you want to talk about or that you want to explain from
Yes, I
the
agree.
Whole Cake Island
I
arc.
agree with that. I think, again, always going back to Luffy versus Katakuri.
Okay.
I think,
Here, actually, the 3 Sweet Commanders, and then the 3 that are under them: Oven, Daifuku, and Perospero,
okay.
or whatever.
Yeah,
however you say
it's
their name.
better.
Focus on those guys. I want
Yes,
to know where
I
you
can do
think they
that.
are.
I
Okay.
think the way Oda set up the first 2 Luffy fights, or the only 2 Luffy fights, I think he did a bad job. I've heard from the anime that Luffy versus Cracker doesn't look as impressive, and I think I haven't watched it yet because I don't watch as much as it. I let it build up and then do a whole bunch. So if indeed in the anime Cracker does look a little bit more pushover-y and Luffy looks less serious or kind of, not really trying as hard as he could, then I think, yeah, sure, the manga is seen as the true canon, the true vision of Oda. I think in that regard, that is Oda rectifying how he made it seem.
Just a quick note on that.
Yes.
I saw the fight. To me, Cracker seemed really intimidating.
Really?
And it actually
Okay.
was a pretty decent
Again,
fight. But no,
yeah,
I just wanted to
if
put
it is
my
that
two-
way. If
that's
it is
my
that way.
opinion.
Yeah,
so.
if it's that way. I think starting off, they made Cracker too strong.
Mhm.
They either made Cracker too strong or they made Katakuri less impressive than he should have been.
Okay, I respect that.
Luffy had way too much difficulty against Cracker. And coming to Katakuri, I think initially the way they showed him, he was as powerful as he needed to be.
Mhm.
Luffy could, that is from understanding more of his power, the way Katakuri was fighting Luffy at the start, he was not fighting Luffy the way he normally fights.
Mhm.
He was, if Katakuri normally, if he normally drives, like motorcycles, he doesn't drive cars ever. And then he gets like this dude who's an amazing car driver. He's like, all right, I don't drive cars, but I'll do what you do. He put himself in Luffy's position and beat him in his own position.
I see what
And
you're
from
saying.
that perspective, it was well done from the start. And Luffy couldn't handle him. And so I think the way in which that fight progressed
like
diminished
basically
Katakuri.
what you're saying is like they showed everything that Luffy's good at.
Yes.
And Katakuri was better at what Luffy was
Yes.
good at,
Yes.
basically. So he
At
was
Luffy,
just outclassing
Luffy
him in
at
his own
your
game.
best, you're still not better at the person not fighting at their best.
Mhm.
That's how it started, which is
Mhm.
great. And now, when it started, I was like, either Luffy is not gonna win, or he's either not gonna win and manage to get away, or he's somehow going to get a new peek at something that is going to make sense as to why he can do this. Snake Man does not
Does not
answer that
satisfy-
question.
Yeah.
Him being able to dodge versus the man who is, up for all intents and purposes, the information we've been given, the best
Mhm.
dodger in everything. Doesn't make sense that he can't dodge, but Luffy can.
Mhm.
So I think Katakuri wasn't given the true breadth that he could have been shown.
Okay. And then Smoothie.
Smoothie, we haven't seen her, but she's in between Cracker and Katakuri, so I expect her to be equally impressive. No
Mhm.
matter what she does, it won't necessarily move me. I'll just be like, yes, I'm glad you are as powerful as you need to be.
Okay. And then you kind of gave a little bit of Cracker, but do you have anything else to?
No, I mean, I think I loved the way Cracker was. His power, he doesn't like getting hit, so like he is, and I feel like that is maybe that's one way to kind of break my argument down, saying Cracker is just offensively sound. You know, offensively and defensively, he is sound. Like, but once you can break
actually
through,
get his,
then that's where his weakness is. Whereas Katakuri being exactly
find ways to get it
exactly
around that.
exactly
Yeah.
Katakuri would be able to find ways. So maybe
Resilience.
exactly. So maybe what Oda saw was the difference between Cracker and Katakuri isn't their actual offensive and defensive strength. It's their overall well-roundedness.
You know what?
That would be very interesting.
I had an interesting thought.
What's up?
In just 5 seconds, but
No, go.
what would have been cooler if Luffy used Snake Man to get the upper hand on Cracker,
Yeah.
and then he used Tank Man to actually get a big blow to Katakuri. I think that actually would have been a lot more satisfaction.
Exactly.
If they would have switched how they beat them,
Yeah.
I feel like that actually would have made a little bit more sense.
Again,
Because Luffy sent Cracker flying all through Whole Cake Island.
yeah.
And that was a powerful blow that made sense.
Yeah.
Snake Man didn't make sense how it got the hand over.
Exactly.
But if Luffy did the whole snake thing to get around Cracker's Biscuit Warriors,
That would have
actually
made sense because snaking around someone who can see the future doesn't make sense because he can still
see the future. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's
that,
enough said in the
anyway.
past.
Okay.
So I mean so I think if the difference in all of them isn't pure power but strategy and overall well-roundedness, then that is maybe a facet I haven't looked at.
Okay.
And I can accept that. But in that being said, that would mean that Smoothie isn't necessarily stronger than Cracker or necessarily weaker than Katakuri.
Mm-hmm.
Katakuri is just more
adept at fighting.
exactly.
Okay.
And that again is a perfectly valid.
Oh.
But I haven't seen anything that alludes to
prove
that.
yeah.
And so I'm gonna take it in the typical kind of anime trope where you're better and linked higher because you're stronger.
Okay. And now the three brothers, Oven,
And the
Daifuku,
three brothers,
and
Perospero has fully and completely impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought he was kind of lame. He's impressed me. Oven, I mean, he's probably very interesting and very impressive.
I like Oven.
But
We argue on this
You
one.
can find ways around it.
yeah, but I mean, the reason he's not impressing me is because he's using heat power in water to render all the fishmen weak. So to me, that's not a show of how cool he is, but a show that it is just a
Your
bad
ability.
place. Yeah, these people are just in a bad place at a bad time. If they were on land, would he be able to immobilize them in the same way? You know what I'm saying? To me, and that's why like it's cool that he's but I think he's just situationally the best character there. In a similar way, Perospero would have been cool like that because his goo managed him to surf over the water, you know? And I kind of brought that up. I was saying that the reason why it's not so impressive to me is because like their bodies can't be in water, but their powers themselves can affect the water. So when Aokiji uses the ice on the ocean, after he did that, the first time he did that, I was extremely impressed, but I was like, you know what, that makes sense. And I can understand why. And ever since then, you've seen it with magma. You've seen it with electricity to a certain degree. I mean, that's even why, again, the reason why I don't find Oven so interesting is we go back to the Angel, the Sky Island arc, you know?
Skypiea.
And Eneru. He was well beyond the weight class of Luffy in all of them.
Yeah. They
Zoro
said,
wouldn't have been
Oda
able to
actually said if he would have given him a bounty, it would have been 500,000 at that point.
Yeah, and that's only because he's been isolated, so he doesn't know how strong other people can be. He was overestimating his power, but Eneru was well beyond Luffy's fighting. Like Luffy should not have been in. But the reason why was because Eneru's power was electricity, Luffy is rubber. Electricity literally can't do anything to him, and so that's just a bad matchup. It's not that Luffy is that strong; it's just that Eneru got unlucky.
Yeah, and he didn't know that.
And that is how I look at Oven in this case. It's not that Oven is that strong; it's just that these people are unlucky, and that's not to diminish him. It's just he's not as impressive. And so I think Daifuku, the things Perospero has done so far has impressed me because he tanked a suicide bomb. Okay. That in and of itself is impressive. The dude who was doing it had full understanding he was going to die. His comrades had full understanding. Like that genuinely impressed me. I was like, wow. Like,
Yeah, he walked away, I think, with only a lost arm, basically.
And so moving on from there, as a Yonko overall, I think this has been a great showing of what a Yonko is. Big Mom, for the most part, wasn't phased. The whole point of this was to assassinate Big Mom. They didn't even make a dent at all. And and maybe the one chance they maybe could have with the poison, we're not guaranteed the poison would have killed her. Like, they want us to think that, but that's probably not.
The bitch can eat everything.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So I think this is how Yonko are supposed to seem. Everyone loves the Marineford arc. I'm a contrarian, as Justin will tell you. It didn't impress me. Trust me, you will be impressed by it. But to me, it was. Yeah.
You have lower standards than me, but trust me.
It's not that you have lower standards. I just have different. I'm just different. And
I'm just unique.
And oh my gosh. And the reason why was because it was a terrible showing of Whitebeard's crew. Piss poor.
Real quick on that note, actually, King of Lightning had a really shout out King of Lightning. They had a really good discussion with the Big Mom pirates do better in Marineford than Whitebeard did. But we'll talk about that later.
And the reason, if I'm judging based on what we were shown, I would say yes. But if I'm going to judge them by what Oda intends, I would say maybe. Whitebeard was old. He was starting to get hurt. Yeah. So Whitebeard did not have his personal strength wasn't there. So he kind of was regressing. So Big Mom Pirates would have had a better chance at doing it. Can I say for sure? No, because they had essentially 4 admirals. They have the head admiral and then there are 3. And up until this point, we have to assume the way in which I look at it is a Yonko is a strength of at minimum 2 admirals at minimum. And then I think the 3 Sweet Commanders are from the top the same as an admiral or maybe a little bit stronger, and at the bottom, so Cracker is equal or just slightly under. That way we have Big Mom and her 3 commanders equaling the four admirals that the Marines have, right? And then when we look at Daifuku, we have Perospero and we have Oven. Then they are your highest tier vice admiral. And we've seen in the past, going from vice admiral, it's literally the next step, so there have to be some admirals either close or at the level of admiral, but oftentimes they tell us who those are. And currently we know there's one vice admiral. No, he's actually an admiral. Fujitora, he's an admiral, right?
He's an admiral.
Oh, yeah.
He replaced
exactly.
The ice guy.
Yes, Aokiji. So for the most part, all vice admirals are assumed levels below unless we're adequately told. So then I would assume that those next 3 in Big Mom's crew are
vice admiral level.
Are not I'd say they're above vice admiral level, but since there's more vice admirals than those 3 commanders, all of the vice admiral and then some peons then begin to approach that. Otherwise the balance in power isn't there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Otherwise one Yonko's crew is stronger than the whole Marines, and that completely throws out the battle. Yeah. The whole point of the Marines is their 5th power. Each of those powers have to be equal, whereas the Yonko are selfish. One of them wants to be the leader, so they'll never team up to destroy the Marines or the world government, and that's what the world government counts on. If 2 of them teamed up, they are going to rule everything, but then they're going to get into a fight about it. And so that's why I see all 5 being equal. The 4 Yonko and the Marines are all equal in strength. And that is why I can say Oven and all the other 2 are impressive, but not that impressive. And then I can say the way in which they showed Whitebeard's crew wasn't that impressive because they were obliterated. And it wasn't just Whitebeard's crew, it was Whitebeard's crew and help, because he brought all of his alliances with him, And that is where I was never impressed at Whitebeard's showing. But that's just like my whole scheme and understanding of it.
Don't you ever ask this fool that detailed of a question.
I did not expect that.
Like when you asked, I knew what it was. But since it's the season finale, it's okay. I gave this to you, One Piece fans. Good job. I'm sure what you said made very much sense.
Oh yeah, he's still behind, so he's catching up. But I didn't ruin anything.
Where I left off at episode 70.
Yes, Justin.
Fucks. I'll make it quick. Where I was at, they were on Little Garden, and so pretty much whatever the fuck these numbers are, Mr. 4, Mr. 5, whatever, Miss Valentine, they come on there. They're looking for they're trying to get the bounty on the 2 giants. They find them, and now they have like this candle dude. I think it's Mr. 2, Mr. 3, Mr. 3. He's real queer.
Yes, he is.
He pretty much wants to make people into candles and burn them.
He's very demented as well.
He's a very demented individual. So pretty much
I need the thingy behind me doing what I'm doing. The green screen.
Oh, I got you. So yeah, so Zoro's gonna cut off his legs to save everybody because they were all on a candle to look like a birthday cake. Everybody was pretty much fucked. We all came to that conclusion, and Luffy, he was getting worked out by this chick that draws paintings, and the paintings are very strong and they make you do certain things. And so Usopp comes out of nowhere. He's
depressed.
he's like, Luffy, what the fuck are you doing? And then Luffy becomes mentally empowered to do things, which was like whatever. And he was like, hey, you know what beats candle wax? Heat. It's like, oh shit, you right. So they started melting shit, and then they whatever the fuck that was. And so now Luffy's chasing down Candlejack. I like calling him Candlejack because it reminds me of Freakazoid. If you watch the episode of Freakazoid, which I will put on the green screen, that's just creepy as hell. Candlejack's terrifying from Freakazoid. Shout out Warner Brothers. But either way, he finds Candle Dude, Mr. 3. Mr. 3 tried to do the thing where he's like, oh, I'm like 50 different fucking people. You can't guess which one I am. And then Luffy just sticks his ass right in the middle. He's like, bitch, he was in the middle. How'd you know? Bitch, because I knew. And that was the end of it. So Candle Dude got his ass knocked the fuck out. They got knocked out like the way Team Rocky used to get knocked out, flying in the fucking air and turning.
Yeah, they really did get
shit was cool.
Sent to the stars.
And then so the giants and shit, they at first they thought that the giant was dead. One of the giants was, I don't know your fucking name, I really don't care. But
they laughed hilarious.
Yeah. But one of the giants was dead. We found out that they had a little backstory, like, oh, they gotta fight each other till one of them dies, and they've been fighting for so long, and one finally died, and the other one felt bad, and then the candle dude was like, hey, I poisoned him, you a bitch, and then that made a whole thing. But then, oh, he's not dead, he's back alive.
I told you.
Yeah. So he comes back alive. Everybody's all happy and shit. And so one thing that I liked about One Piece that I learned about a week ago was that they understand that shit isn't just feces, and it's not just a swear word. So they said we landed on an island, and we thought it was an island, but it wasn't an island. It was just a big piece of shit from a big ass fish monster.
That's hilarious.
And that's how they got into a fight, because they found one of them like captured a fish monster. They both captured like one of the little big ass fish monsters, and they argued about which one was bigger. But essentially, when they landed, they were on a giant ass piece of shit, and you know what they called it? Nothing Island. So it's like they mean like, what you doing? Shit, nothing. One Piece is kind of black, so that was cool. So pretty much from there, they're heading back off. They're going to wherever. They're still trying to drop old girl off at her little place,
Alabasta.
Alabaster.
We find out that Nami is sick as fuck. So they go on this one island. The island's like, fuck you guys, we don't let anybody here. And then somebody shot, and then Vivi got shot, and then shit was finna turn up.
You already see the dugongs?
Yeah.
The kung fu dugongs?
Yeah. Oh, those things are funny.
They're funny.
No, I don't think I did. But either way, so they're on this cold ass, snowy ass fucking island. And so one of the captains was like, all right, we gonna let them come do this shit or whatever, because they ain't beat our ass, because shit was finna get real. But Luffy was like, let me chill the fuck. Everybody chill the fuck out. So everybody was cool or whatever. So now they're on a search to find this witch doctor. She's apparently like knows everything about healing everybody, but her thing is when she comes and heals you, she's gonna take all your shit. She's gonna take whatever the fuck she want.
Oh, I know where you guys are.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely have
So,
seen the Kung Fu Dugan.
yeah,
It's not a ruin. It's not a spoiler.
So,
it's a miniature.
pretty much they get to the point where it's like, all right, look, we don't know where the fuck she at. You gotta go up and go see your ass. So they like, all right. So Luffy and Sanji take Nami. Nami's on Luffy's back, and they're climbing up this fucking mountain and shit. And then they run.
That
to
was
these,
heartfelt.
Yeah, that shit was cold. So they run into these crazy ass rabbit Wolverine things or whatever, and their ass was fucking spazzing out. So they find a way to get around that shit. Sanji pretty much damn near killed himself to save them or whatever. So Luffy finds Sanji, grabs Sanji, put Sanji on his back. They're climbing up the fucking mountain. And what happened was there was a big ass avalanche because the rabbit monsters, they was on bullshit. They was on super bullshit.
They was so grimy.
They knew grimy.
They're like, oh, you trying to climb up?
Oh,
I got it.
they said fuck all of that. They was tripping. So after the avalanche happened, and it fucked up everybody else at the bottom. That's another thing. But so they're climbing up the thing. Luffy sees one of the little rabbit things, his hand stuck, and then one of the baby rabbit monsters. He's trying to pull his ass out because he sees like daddy dead.
They messed themselves up too.
Yeah, he's like fuck, man, and daddy. And then so the little baby rabbit's like, oh shit, I'm about to beat your ass. And then Luffy walked by his ass, and he was like, don't beat my ass. And then Luffy pulled out the big rabbit, and then the little rabbit, and he was like, all right, that nigga cool. So they climb up the mountain and shit. Somebody found their ass, tried to stop them, and then the rabbits turned off and just kind of just like, all right, look, we finna help this nigga because he real. So they did that. Luffy is climbing up a fucking mountain that's completely vertical, which is kind of cold. I saw a lot of blood. That shit made me cringe a little bit.
Bro.
Like Luffy got real points on that one.
So many real points.
They get there, they meet the witch, they meet the little antler dude. What's his name? What's the little antler dude, man?
Chopper.
They meet Chopper. Chopper can turn to some shit. He's a reindeer that ate devil fruit. He can turn to a big reindeer thing. Whatever.
Do you want to know what devil fruit is, or do you want to wait?
I don't know, but I know he can talk now. He can talk shit. He used to not be able to talk, and he's not Rudolph because he has a blue nose, not a red nose. So Nami's better. Nami was gonna die if she didn't come to the doctor.
He's a reindeer who ate the human fruit.
That was so weird.
Because why is there a human fruit? Wouldn't you expect all the devil fruit to be for humans?
Yeah.
What would a human eating a human fruit do?
I did actually always wonder
So,
what would that be.
He's a reindeer who ate a human fruit.
God, Roy.
You don't find that funny?
That's funny as hell.
I find that so funny.
You don't think that's weird, Jordan?
No, I mean, it is funny. It's just the way Roy's just waiting. He's like, a reindeer?
It's always tickled me.
That's internally tickling.
It's always tickled the heck out of me. I'm like, dude, who thinks of this?
Hold up. Anyway, so pretty much I'm at the point now where they're trying to convince Chopper to come with them on the ship, and I'm sure he will. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
You have to show how he hides. He hides wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does. That is
Okay.
funny.
Like you know how you hide like this?
Yeah.
He hides like this.
He hides out in the open.
Yeah.
Oh, I peeped that shit when he was trying to hide from
Yeah.
Nami. And she's like, I can see it. Oh, shit.
And then
Oh, God. Come on, bro.
Are you kidding?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chopper's
Well, yeah.
funny.
So I'll keep watching One Piece. Like I said, though, we're setting things up schedule wise, so we can actually have as soon as the chapter drops, we'll have Jordan here or Roy here or both on certain days when they're both not being busy adults, available to talk about that. We're not gonna talk about NBA too much because me and So are gonna kind of do a little special thing for you. The only good
and
thing
I don't watch very much NBA.
The only thing I'm gonna give you on that is the Wolves are going to beat the Rockets.
You heard it here first.
Jalen Rose said that Russell Westbrook was going to average a triple-double this year, and he was right. He didn't say this, but I have the power and confidence of Jalen Rose in saying that.
You're living vicariously through Jalen.
Yes, and I'm
no,
telling
he really
you right,
does. You don't understand.
I'm telling you right now, the Wolves are going, and I'm confident. I'm confident as hell. You don't even know how confident I am. Like Jimmy Butler is going to become like a super household name. He's going to make James Harden his bitch. Remember, defense wins championships.
You're right. I respect Jimmy Butler's defense. But can the whole team withstand that high octane offense?
My favorite thing is
the
when people
last
answer
question I asked
early.
you of this, and literally we're just gonna do this for 2 minutes. Jordan, let me tell you about why the Timberwolves are gonna win this. First thing, defense wins championships, right? But you need to have some form of offense. Do you know what their form of offense is? A fucking cat. Karl Anthony Towns is the fucking offense. You know who else is the offense? Jimmy Butler's the offense. You know who doesn't get tired when he plays defense and comes back to play offense? Jimmy Butler doesn't get tired. You know who does get tired? James Harden. James Harden can't play or guard anybody. He has to guard Jimmy fucking Butler. It's not going to work out for him. On the offensive tip for the Rockets, you have Chris Paul, pretty much leading everything. You know who's not afraid of Chris Paul? Jeff Teague. You know who else isn't afraid of Chris Paul? Derrick Rose. And the reason why I say that, even though Derrick Rose may not be that much of a factor, the fact that Chris Paul has some sort of respect towards Derrick Rose means that when the second unit comes in, he's not going to be on his ass like that. Mm-hmm. You know what else the Rockets have, or what else the Wolves have that the Rockets don't? They don't have that extra guy in the paint. You have Taj. Taj is a fucking playoff piece. Mm-hmm. Karl Anthony Towns is the most naturally talented person in this series.
I respect that whole argument.
He can go for 50 in any of these games. He can go for 40 for the whole series. He can go for 30 the whole series. He's going to get you a double-double.
But you have to, if you're Minnesota,
Jamal
you have to make sure that
Crawford.
Jamal Crawford's solid.
Jamal Crawford.
Jordan's face is saying, I hear you.
I know, I want to hear you.
But I don't feel
okay. So for Minnesota, you're gonna have to give Karl Anthony Towns more shots than he normally gets. He doesn't get superstar shots.
He has in the past month. That's how he dropped 56 on the Hawks.
He's getting more, but he's gonna have to do that every single night for this series. Clearly, I'm not discounting him. I'm not saying he can't do it. You also have to make sure that. You kind of left out Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins has to show up. Andrew Wiggins has been a little wishy-washy this season.
Who does Andrew Wiggins have to guard?
Probably Ariza.
Trevor Ariza is old.
And then Gordon, whatever his first name is.
Oh, yeah.
So you have that. The matchups, the defensive matchups are solid for Minnesota. They have a favorable defense, but you literally cannot let Houston spark at any point.
Only
that is going to be the most difficult thing.
The only person I'm truly scared of, if Eric Gordon has a great series.
Yeah, there we go.
If Eric Gordon has a great series, it may be an issue. But the reason why I say I'm not worried about Wiggins is because he has to play Trevor. Trevor Ariza is old. Andrew Wiggins is more athletic. Mm-hmm. He can at least keep up with him on the offensive tip. He has to play. Andrew Wiggins doesn't have to drop. Again, if it's a defensive series, I think Timberwolves are going to win.
But, I trust Thibodeau's coaching.
Mm-hmm. I trust Tibbs' coaching
on the
defense more than I trust D'Antoni's offense coaching.
D'Antoni's offensive coaching is pretty solid.
I trust him.
And the other thing is you got to remember too. If there's going to be an upset in the playoffs, a true upset,
that'd be upset.
That's the upset. I agree with you on that. But you have to remember that these guys are also young. They've never been put in this position besides Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler doesn't have that favorable. Butler, Derrick Rose.
Jimmy, Derrick, Jamal. That's enough. And your coach.
But the two people you're expecting a lot of output is Cat and Andrew Wiggins. They need to come out. They need to show out.
I think this
Like
is the
that's a
time.
required.
This is the time for it.
I agree. It is the time. This
This
is
they need
the
to,
time.
yeah.
And that has to happen. And you have to do that because if they're going to upset them, it's not going to be anything short of 7 games. Yeah. So that's where you have to. That's where you're really going to tell. Do they have this championship gene?
We're gonna learn that the Timberwolves are real. That
I
Karl
respect
Anthony
the
Towns
argument,
is
though.
real, and that Jimmy Bucket's real. But aside from that,
Find out next time on Justin and So.
okay.
You looked like you weren't about to feel it, but he wrapped it up for you nice. Like,
We
all
don't
right, I
have
kinda
we
feel
don't
it.
have White Man Dan for the DLC. But what's a white thing that I learned today or learned this week? I learned that the United States has essentially dropped bombs on Syria,
Which is a big deal.
That's a big deal.
All political motivated, but yeah.
The United States is so United States that we make memes about that, and we see it with the roster.
But it wasn't the
for
only
World
U.S.
War
by
III.
the way.
Oh,
It was the U.S., Britain, and France.
Yeah.
Was that World War III or Modern Warfare?
No, World War III. It was they showed roster for World War III,
Oh, I did
and they
see
had that. that was funny. as hell.
Imagine if there was an internet when World War II happened. That would have been weird.
There was. I also saw another meme that was Donald Trump, and it said, "1 like, and I'll bomb Syria." And it said like, and then
Oh, yeah,
underneath
that
it
was
said
funny.
Donald Trump liked this, and he's like, "Let's do it."
Yeah. So we have to worry about those things. What else?
Are you guys between the ages of 18 and 25?
You are.
I am. I'm not happy about that.
Your ass going to war, boy.
Hey man.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
Dan some things about deep sea fishing and
Yeah.
and squids. All
All right, let's just get channel your inner Dan and just give like a Dan sentence.
That's best done by you.
All right, let's.
That's not best
All
done
right,
by
Jordan,
me.
go ahead. I'll think. I'm trying.
Come on, Jordan.
All right, hold on. Let me think.
Roy, shut up. You gotta think too.
I don't know damn things.
Dan things are. You know what I'm fucking tired of? Everybody getting excited for baseball season.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
That is something you'd say.
God damn, that's good. That's really good.
There you go.
We're gonna cap that. We're
Okay,
capping that.
okay.
We're capping that. Ah, that's good as hell. I'm gonna have Dan in the background saying some shit when you say that. That's hilarious. Good job, Jordan. Okay, and last thing, gaming.
Oh yes. I'm gonna just start with this.
Please.
We're planning on doing some video game streams, most likely on YouTube, possibly on Twitch, and there's one other Twitch-like thing. We'll let you know on those details. But we're looking to do that, probably primarily from me and probably Jordan as well. But trying to get a little bit more interaction with you guys, especially those who watch or who might just kind of want to go see how we are.
And any general, video game enjoyer, connoisseurs.
Just play. We range in skills. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're not. But we manage some W's. So
what would be nice is the people that watch won't feel bad because like when you watch like a ninja or a myth, you're like, man, I really wish I could do that. When you see us, you'll be like, yeah, that's about where I'm at.
you can see some average Joes. We get some W's. Me and Jordan and Justin. We've
You
all
get
done
a
our
W
thing.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
You'll be impressed, and then you'll be like, man, these guys suck every once in a while.
Shotgun people in the face. Like, how did you huff?
Yeah.
Huff, 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 huff. Just huff.
People don't get it yet, but they gonna get it.
Yeah,
y'all gonna
get
get that one.
So we're looking to do that.
I might play some Tekken.
Yes,
I might live stream some Tekken.
that would be nice. So I mean, honestly, I think we're just
Justin's
looking
actually
to.
good at Tekken,
he's
though.
really good. He's very good. He is the sensei of fighting games here. And then outside of that, look out for those. We'll be posting on the Facebook page of the expansion pack, as well as my own page as well. So I try and do that. Do a lot, but if you guys think a schedule or something like that is a little bit better, that I think we might also try and do that. Just at least there's always some sort of time you can expect us. Moving beyond that, on my phone I made a list of video game things that recently came out that tied in perfectly to this. So remember how we've had those discussions about VR, right?
Yeah.
Who here's watched Ready Player One?
Not yet.
It
You
couldn't
seen it
have-
already?
Bro, I watched it like,
I mean, it's been out for a minute.
Opening
Like, it's
weekend.
not.
Alright.
bro, it is literally everything. Remember when we were having that discussion about just having a house?
That was
Bruh, it is practically that. it is maybe regardless, it is a good movie. It is a good movie. Go watch it. Whether you like video games or not, it is solid.
Mm-hmm.
The live action acting isn't the best, and the main character is a fantastic voice actor. Like, hands down, a great voice actor.
It's like Matt.
Yeah, just exactly. He's not the best actual actor. Like, no knock on you, like just a little bit of sprucing up. Like, some of his faces, they weren't as convincing. Luckily, most of the movie is animated, and it does knock it out of the park. I think the love story that they have in there, it's not that it was unnecessary. It was just rushed and never fully, like,
You didn't feel
it didn't feel natural.
kind of thrown in
Get a
there.
Ready Player too, though.
But yeah, so it was good. It essentially took up all the VR stuff that I've been like harping on. I had a few more, but we're getting close. I have 3 technological things I want out of life. I already have one.
The headphones.
Wireless headphones.
I actually got you something for my birthday. Thanks,
They're the best.
They're fucking awesome.
They're the best things. I'm telling you right now, ever since I was a child, there's 3 things I've always wanted. One was truly wireless earphones. It is so simple, and you're like, but that was always a mark of the future too.
I'm gonna pull another Dan. I'm gonna pull another
What?
Dan. Didn't you see the protection lock for the wireless headphones?
I did. Regardless, I've always wanted just
It's a wire.
things that sit
They
in my
put
ear.
a wire on it so that it's actual headphones again. That kind that you.
Continue, right, please.
Number 2, and we're getting darn close to that, is VR. From a child, I always wanted virtual reality. And I think virtual reality is in a really good place right now. I don't need the whole like 6-way moving like treadmill and room, like that'd be great. But I think virtual reality where it's at right now is in a really good place. I think unlike gaming systems where I don't think we're going to see consoles or PC do any more crazy leaps in graphics. Like, I think PC is a good gauge of that, and console graphics are lesser than PC, but PC hasn't made crazy moves, and consoles are already really close. So I think the only thing consoles are going to start gaining is kind of what the Xbox One X did, which is just under the hood beefing up the specs so it runs smoother from 60 frames to ridiculous refresh rate, so or moving even toward uncapped like PC does. So I think that's where we're going to see the improvements in console gaming. VR, however, while it does look great, has the opportunity to continue to make its visual fidelity just crazy. So once we get like those better looking VR games and like a little bit more immersive VR, and I think that's only maybe 1 or 2 generations away. That will be number 2 on my technological.
I'm excited for number 3. What the fuck's number 3?
Flying/hovering cars. I have wanted that since I was a child.
You want to be the Jetsons.
That I don't think we're gonna get. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be like Jetsons.
Would a true hoverboard kind of cover that for you?
It would be like. It would be.
No.
Not. It's not a no. It's like It's.
What about a
I can
hover
live with
bike?
this. It's I can live with this.
What about a hover bike?
I mean, they're all in that realm of they're doing almost what I want them to do. They would make me happy. I know we're definitely not close to a hover car yet. I think we're close enough, but and it doesn't even have to fly. Like 12 to 24 inches. Imagine your car just like this high off the ground.
Oh yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Like a magnet
Hey,
train.
yeah.
That would be so cool.
I like that.
Because
you say hover car, I think of like 50 feet in the air.
Nah.
But like 3 feet off the ground.
yeah, that'd be.
That eliminates potholes.
Think iRobot.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 technological things I want. Headphones, I don't care how much you laugh. I've always wanted something about.
Just because he said that shit, it's probably gonna happen soon.
So those are so fingers crossed. I just I can die happy when those things happen. VR,
I respect that.
it's coming.
It's coming.
As soon as we started talking about VR stuff, we got Ready Player One. You watch Ready Player One and tell me if you're gonna laugh at me like what I was talking about. They were making fun of me. Dan was, especially about my house, my VR house. Watch that movie. Tell me if a VR house is a joke. Tell me you're walking into a room of nothing and then just having VR.
I'll watch Ready Player One and I'll let you know.
I promise you will text me and you be like, all right, bro.
I see what you're saying.
All right, kids. Well, that'll cap off the Expansion Pack podcasts.
Season 1.
Again, we'll reinstate that we're going to be doing a lot of different things. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming to you. The Expansion Pack was made to expand and become more than just these 5 topics. But if you like these 5 topics, you fucking love this show.
Woo!
This is your shit.
It is that shit right here. So we'll move to a few things. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna go hit some video game live streams. You're probably not gonna see this by the time we do it, but there'll be some live streams by the time this comes, and additional live video game live streams after that. Try to stay up to date with the NBA playoffs. Me and Saul hit you with that. We might have an additional helper, maybe. But yeah, so that'll be it. We appreciate you guys, watching, subbing. We're at 300 subs. Yeah. So everybody.
Oh, thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate you guys. Sorry, I was a little spacey there. I kept seeing you look back and forth. I'm like, am I supposed to say something? What are you? Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. You guys are the best.
Yeah. So it'll probably be a little baby while before we get a full episode back out, but we'll be hitting you with different kinds of content. Again, let us know if you guys have any thoughts, ideas, things of that nature, or if you just want to come by and say hi. Yeah.
Friendly people.
Yeah.
Come over and borrow a cup of sugar.
Good old basement of UIC PED.
Physical education building.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we'll see y'all when y'all see y'all. Peace.
I finally managed to get Photoshop on my laptop.
Ooh, how'd you do it?
I did a lot of